All right, guys. So today I am gone for a track meet during your guys' hours. So I wanted to go over a couple of things so that we weren't confused while we were working today. So, after free reading time, you are going to do some slides in the Private Victory notebook. These are going to be like your last few slides, okay? So, the first one we are going to do kind of bounces off of the first one we did in the beginning. So, up next to your title slide on your Private Victory digital notebook, you're going to see this. So number one, based on what you read in the introduction, what do you think the central idea is that Covey is trying to convey with Seven Habits? So we talked about central idea before. Central idea is allowed to include details about the text in it, unlike a theme. This is going to be kind of like a summary of the main point the author wants you to get. What is the summary of what the author wants us to have here? Um, so some of you probably said things like he wants to help out teenagers, he wants to give life advice to teenagers, he wants um to help teens feel more comfortable. Those are all good central ideas. And then for number two, you probably said something along the lines, you pulled a quote from the introduction, something along the lines of like, life is a jungle out there. That's why I'm writing this book, essentially. So the central ideas developed quite a bit since the introduction, right? We've learned a lot more since the intro, and now we're gonna add on to it. So way down here after all of this, this is slide 27. So Private Victory central idea. Based on what you've read throughout the entire Private Victory, so this is everything we've talked about. This is the intro, paradigms and principles, the personal bank account, habits 1, habits 2, and habit 3. Based on what you read in all of those chapters, what do you think the central idea is that Covey is trying to convey for specifically the Private Victory? So I want you to think about the habits and what we've kind of talked about up to this point. We've talked about being proactive, which is habit 1. That is taking responsibility for ourselves and our lives and not blaming others for bad things that happen to us, simply taking whatever happens to us and then going from there, controlling what is in our circle of control. So that's habit 1. Habit 2, we talked about beginning with the end in mind. So that is planning. What do you want in life? How are you going to get there? What little things can you do now as a teenager that will help you reach the goals that you want to achieve as an adult? And then finally, habit 3, we talked a lot about the time quadrants. So this was putting first things first. So rather than slacking off, procrastinating, or saying yes to things that aren't necessarily that important, how are we going to put the most important things in our life first so that we get those things done um, before we get to a point where it's like, it's almost too late. Now I have to panic. So we've talked a lot about ourselves and what we can do for ourselves. So I want you to think specifically on the lines of what do you think the Private Victory is for? Why are we focusing so much on ourselves first? And we haven't really talked about dealing with other people yet. We've only talked about handling ourselves. So focus on that idea. What do you think the central idea is that Covey is trying to convey in all of these chapters? From intro, paradigms, principles, public, personal bank account, um, habits 1, 2, and 3. What is the central idea? Then number 2, you're going to provide a quote that supports whatever central idea you put in number 1. And that can be from anywhere. It just needs to go along with your central idea. As long as it's in the Private Victory, you can use that quote. Slide 28, you are going to list the subsections of the Private Victory. You're going to list them in order. In the other classes, we're going to kind of do this together. So it's going to go intro, paradigms and principles, and then just follow the sections from there. If you want to check with your partners to make sure that you got the right order and you have all of the subsections, you're good to go. If you have anything about habits 4, 5, and 6 on there, I will tell you now that you're wrong. Go back, make sure you end at habit 3 because we haven't read anything past that. Last one, look at the order of these subsections, these chapters that you listed on the previous slides. Why do you think Covey organizes the Private Victory this way? So I'm going to give you a hint. A big part of it has to do with what each of those different habits are talking about. So we talk about being proactive first. Why do we talk about that first? And then we could talk about beginning with the end in mind. Why do we talk about having a plan second? And then we talk about using our time wisely. Why is put first things first third? What is the method behind this order? Is there a method behind this order? I think there is. I want to see your thoughts on it. And that is it for the slides. Then you guys get test review time. So, we did talk a little bit on Friday about plugging in a Chromebook to the board and using that to run a full class Jeopardy game. So let me show you what this looks like. This will be linked in your Google Classroom announcement so you can easily get here. But you are going to pick however many teams your class decides upon. It's up to you guys. I really don't care how big your teams are or how many teams we have, so long as everyone is on a team. That's all I care about. So you pick however many teams you have, then you click start, and then you just go through this. You click whatever category like you would in Jeopardy. Let me give you an easy one. Let's do some roots and affixes. Okay, what do you think this means? Da, 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 da. If you get it, you add points. If you don't get it, you can subtract. If you want to go into the negatives, you can't. Your guys' classes can decide how you want to run the rules. I typically don't go into the negatives. I just don't give points. I feel like that's the most fair, but if you guys are feeling brutal today and want to subtract points for every wrong answer, by all means, do your thing. As long as you're doing your test review, that's all I care about. In the event that this does not work, oh, I probably should show you. When you do this, press the space bar to see the correct answer. In the event that this does not work, we do have both of our Blookits available. They're still in the Blookit study sets. You are more than welcome to put a code on the board and someone can host on their Chromebook and you guys can play a live game, or you guys can study independently with those Blookits. It doesn't matter to me. I just really want to see you guys studying for the remainder of the time you have after those private victory slides. The last thing I want to talk about before I end this video is the other classes have kind of talked about this extra credit opportunity with Google Calendar. Ignore that for now. If you've heard about it from the other hours, I will talk about it with you guys tomorrow and I can explain that when I'm here. You will still be given the same opportunity and we'll kind of go over that tomorrow after you guys finish testing. Do some studying. Good luck. I can't wait to see how you guys do. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.